Pougnet with Rebel Rugby coming over here dialing in with Triple P. So I guess what the word is out. This it was top secret. Triple P's a scout for Rebel Rugby. We're just gonna let that secret out of the bag right there. We just let that secret out of the bag. Great job out of U18s taking that dub. So Ethan, I wanted to bring you in. So we met, I guess, like a year and a half ago, but actually we've known each other a lot longer. Back in 2021, over COVID, we had that high school open division, and you were coaching Rebel, and I was coaching USA South, and we've met you guys in the finals, and if it wasn't for my player who had 2 yellow cards within the first half and got a red, it may have been a different story. But I was, you got the best of me that time, Ethan. But my real disappointment is that you beat me when you had a Florida player on your team who lived in my town.
Oh no.
The kid from Boynton that you had, I forgot his name.
Brandon, yeah.
Yes, and so that was even more, just stuck it right to me. It was like right from underneath me. Yeah. So Ethan, welcome. Sorry, I've been holding that in for several years. I just wanted to tell you that,
Does it feel good to get it out?
It does. It does feel good to get it out. Hopefully, we'll be able to see you guys on stage both for the 16s and 18s tomorrow for some hardware. Yeah. But do me a favor, break down kind of how you founded Rebel and kind of talk me through when you started it and how you started it. Right? Exactly. Greg Shore heckling everybody over here. Can't take that guy anywhere, okay?
Or you take him everywhere.
Right, exactly. So tell me about, how you started, when you started it, and kind of progress me up to kind of where we are today at Tropical Sevens.
Yeah, so Cody Melfi and I founded the program out of Colorado in 2015.
Okay. So why did you guys, you don't have any kids, right?
No kids,
that played
right?
At the time.
Yeah, so I was 22 at the time. He was 21.
Wow.
We were looking for something state-based in order to take kids from Colorado.
Hold on, time out. Why are you not playing?
Yeah,
why are you not playing? You went right into coaching.
Well, there's only 2 things we're going to lie about. That's my weight, my playing career. So,
okay.
I had a couple injuries when I was playing for Glendale.
Okay.
I made the jump to men's Div 1 at 19.
What position?
I was a scrum half.
Okay, at 9.
Yep. So,
right.
and just, kind of while I was recovering from a couple surgeries throughout, I started coaching. That's how I met Cody and some of these other guys that are still with me today. And, so we kind of had this bigger picture of we wanted to do, with sevens in the state of Colorado. And so we went out that first year, 2015, found the best 20 players in the state, trained them up, kind of took them everywhere.
Okay.
Over the course of the 3 or 4 years after that, we started going to NAIs, weren't really able to, compete with, Atlantis and Urine,
right.
Upright at the time. So we kind of looked at adjusting the model. At that point, what was that, 2019, right? All of the kind of the core teams in North America agreed to start the North American High School 7 Series, right? So that was Panthers, us, the teams in Canada. So from then we kind of went through a rebrand, and JD Stevenson was like, hey, if you want to compete with the big dogs, you need to be able to scout outside the state of Colorado. So we started kind of picking up hub after hub after hub and just kind of started vetting them through. And what was it? 2022, we kind of had our breakthrough season. Right? 21, we won Tropical. 22,
and that was I think that was the first tournament you guys won, right?
The first 21? Big tournament,
right,
yeah,
right,
absolutely.
First big tournament.
Yeah, 100%. So for us, it was kind of, a relief, right? Learning that we can hang with the guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So 2022 did pretty well. I think we came 3rd at Tropical, went and won Bloodfest, and then won NAIs for the first time.
Nice.
23, right? Came here, same thing. Won Bloodfest again, won NAIs again last year, midsummer. So we've had a lot of good momentum over the last, 36 months for the most part. And so just kind of trying to ride that wave into the future.
So you focus on elite. And so you only, I've noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've taken 2 elite, 16 and 18 elite here. And then you have the tournament in Wisconsin that
yes,
you go
sir.
to?
Yep, Midsummer Classic.
Midsummer Classic. And you're taking just elite, or you taking open to those as well?
No, we just it's a smaller size tournament, right? We're looking to just do 16, right? 18 boys, yeah. Elite, it's an elite level tournament. And it's quality. It's more, those regional Midwest teams that come in, and it's quality.
And that's the thing is that you recruit also from Iowa, and I didn't know there was good rugby in Iowa.
Yeah, we have a big hub in Iowa, working with Casey Hansen out there. We just renewed renewed our contract for another 3 years with Iowa Youth Rugby.
Oh, nice.
And we've seen massive changes, right? I think the teams have doubled in the state. The quality of the rugby's getting better, and they're just, corn-fed athletes. So,
absolutely.
you've seen the size of some of these kids, and it's just, time behind the wheel with them. I think they're going to be a dangerous state.
Well, you've progressed, and you've gone and you've done it right. Where you have to start small, and you understood that you're going to take your lumps as you work your way up, and now you're kind of at that pinnacle and spotlighting the fact that you guys are headed over to Roslyn Park Sevens, the world's largest sevens tournament in England. That was in March.
Yep.
And why don't you explain that experience and kind of what happened your two teams and how they did?
Yeah, absolutely. So after we finished off winning NAIs for the third time last year.
Did you hear that? NAIs for the third time. If y'all don't know, it's the North American Invitation.
They invited us to bring one team out. We asked if we could bring two and put them in a lower division. They said yes. So
fantastic.
Pretty much immediately after we finished in Salt Lake, we started, kind of putting together what players we wanted to take, starting to get the travel package and, kind of putting it together. And obviously, you called probably at the perfect time to get some of the Boca boys into the mix. But, it's something that we're going to start our season off with every year. We're going to go there in March. The quality of the rugby out there is awesome.
Oh, yeah,
You don't have the heat here, so you can play more games.
Right.
In the Voss competition, which is, kind of
like
our version of open side, there's 220 teams, right?
Yeah,
so it's
crazy.
cutthroat. So,
I couldn't believe that.
You play your pool. You have to win your pool to play a play-in game, to then get seeded in another pool of winners, to then go play quarters, semis, finals. So the Voss competition is 10 games to win it. And the cup is 60 teams, right? And there's a quality vetting process of, you're not going to have slouches in there, right?
No,
everybody's a dogfight.
Everybody's good. I saw that when I was watching the games online.
Yeah, it's just a different, animal of rugby out there. And, the preparation that those kids have throughout the calendar year and then going in and competing against them was, I wouldn't say it was eye-opening for us. I think we knew what we were going into, but there's definitely a little bit of a learning curve on how to manage a tournament like that and the atmosphere and a different flair of sevens. Yeah. So it was good for us. It was good for our boys. Very happy with the way that they performed out there, and it was a good experience.
And you're going next year as well, right?
We're going to keep going every year. I think it's something that American kids need more of that international competition. For us, right, as a high-performance program, when we can get these kids in our environment for 10, 11, 12 days at a time, we can really accelerate their growth.
Yeah.
And so, we just see the value in it, and we're going to continue to keep going.
Well, so tell me how you guys have really kind of been a honey hole for the U.S. Eagle program. Kind of talk to me about that and how that developed.
Absolutely. So I have a pretty close relationship with Dave Fee, and obviously Ben Pinkelman's around here walking around. Two very, very sharp minds in the rugby world.
Coaches of the 18s and 23s, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so... when Dave, he spent a lot of time kind of checking out Rebel. We've given him a lot of full-time access into our environment in Salt Lake and Tropical, letting him come to our trainings, sitting in the film room, getting a bird's eye look on these players.
Yeah.
And, we think that the environment that we provide during our assemblies or time with the kids in camp is one of the closest, replicas of what they're going to experience by going to USA Rugby's pathways, whether it's 7s or 15s, right? So that full-time environment, and it just seems that the longer kids spend time in our camp, right, they come in at 16, they get their first 2 or 3 tours out of the way, they come in as a junior, get 3 more, they could finish their senior year with, somewhere between 8, 9, and 10 tournaments with Rebel.
Right.
And so just the amount of wrinkles you're able to add over the course of their high school career has helped them showcase, right, extremely well in those tryout camps that they do in November in order to select the global schools roster. What was it, 2024? We had 6 of the 13, and then last year we had 7 of the 13. So we'd like to be, I think that's a sweet spot, and I think
that's
it speaks to what the staff's been able to. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's good. It's good. They're good kids, and they work hard, and it takes time, to get them to that level, and a lot of these kids that have come through have bought into the program, and I think it shows that when they go from the USA camp and then into college, right, they're some of the top performers in college rugby.
Well, it shows that you're developing them with that highest level on an international stage and to be able to represent their country. So much so that I saw in your itinerary that you going to the new tournament in New Zealand. What was it called again?
Yeah, Global Schools.
The Global Schools.
We're on the docket for that. We've been having conversations with Fee and Pinky, just making sure that the USA guys are continuing to go.
Okay.
We'll make sure that the guys feed into there, and then we'll figure out what our environment looks
That
like
will have a team.
once they're pillaged out. And
Wow.
but obviously the goal always for the kids in this tournament is to be wearing the colors.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and as development programs, we all have to know like when we need to
Where
send
our
the
place is.
kids on, and
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
and
For the
and
betterment of the kids.
and the hierarchy that is rugby
Right.
in the United States. And so we'll take a look at what that picture looks like come December, but we're confident in our player pool that we'll be able to remain competitive regardless of selections from our environment into the USA's.
All right, so rest of the summer, you got Midsummer Classic, right?
Yes, sir.
Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
And then it's NAIs as well.
Yeah.
Now, NAIs, you send 2 teams here. How many are you taking to NAIs? Because that's kind of your backyard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Colorado, based out of Colorado, right?
100%. I mean, we love NAIs, and our whole calendar year is built around peaking in July. So we will have 5 teams there. We'll do 2 U18 elite teams, 1 U18 open, which is going to be mainly filled with our what is it going to be, 2008 birth years this year.
Okay.
That kind of project, or kind of the better ones that project there,
Right,
and then
right.
we'll take 2 U16, lead or tier
Elite,
1 teams
yeah.
as well. So it'll be 5 teams out there. It's our biggest assembly, right? Some of these other programs chalk up with 9, 10, teams per tournament,
Right,
and
right.
just
But
that's just not
huge.
us.
Yeah. All right, so last question. Best tropical moment.
Oh, I'd have to say it was that finals. No,
That's fine.
I mean, you gotta love winning,
If
but
I mean, my wins were absolutely.
you gotta
it's
take 'em
like
up.
I mean, that's the pinnacle, right? That's where you want to aim at.
100%. Yeah, I'd say we popping off Era in that semi last year and giving them a little bit of belting was nice.
Yeah, what? Last year?
Yeah.
Against whom?
Era.
Oh, Era. Okay. Yeah. When we had again last year.
Yeah.
So
45-5.
yes, and and that's when I was talking to somebody the other day. It's like in 5 years, the whole paradigm has shifted, right? And the high school rugby community, the developed national rugby community, and it's amazing. And this is what I told my boys as well: is that when South was coming up, we always kind of looked on the down. I used to be with the South, and we always kind of looked as the stepchild. And then I was like, you watch, you're going to see a change, and that's exactly what we have seen. With the Souths and the Rebels as well, as they're elevating their whole game.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a competitive tournament, and the regionality needs to kind of start taking a precedence again, and getting these kids into those environments earlier, and giving the programs time with them, right? You see that there's a lot of kids jumping ship. They always think that the grass is greener on the other side for the most part, but it's there's a lot of good programs here. Like you looked at the U16 division, elite division today.
Oh,
all 7 of those teams can ball.
Yep.
And Oakville took us out, Gorilla took them out, Atlantis took somebody else out, right? And it's up for anybody still. And so I think that's kind of what speaks to the credibility of coming to an event like this is you're going to be able to get 6 quality games in and give the USA guys the pictures that they need in order to make quality selections for hopefully years to come.
And you as a coach have to figure out what the tiebreaker rules are.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out. I'm hoping
there's no playoff in that bracket.
I'm hoping if we could just keep going and winning out and putting scores up on the board, we'll let. I like to think we're controlling our own destiny at this point, but I don't know what's on paper.
It's going to be that 8:20 game against Gorilla tomorrow morning. That's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, they got a solid squad. We're gonna have to show up.
Absolutely, got to bring it. Ethan Pougnet.
Yep.
Been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, as always. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on Tropical TV.
Yep.